Tēnā tātou. Tuatahi rere kawatu ngā mihi kia koutou e whakahono mai kia mātou o te whare wānanga o Waitaha ahakoa a hiko nei. Nai a te hau o mihi no tuahiwi e tuku ana kia koutou. Ko Janine Tāmatiala tōku ingoa, he uri a hau no konei no te iwi o Ngaitahu. No reira, tēnā tātou. Kia ora everybody, my name's Janine. Just wanted to firstly just briefly mihi to you all on behalf of not just Te Whare Wānanga o Waitaha, not on behalf of the university, but also on behalf of our haukainga, the people here of Ngai Tuahuriri, who are one of the hapu of Ngaitahu. So just wanted to shout out to all of the maunga that are represented all around the country. I do have a little bit of housekeeping before I just briefly talk. So just to let you know that tonight's webinar, it is being recorded for those that are unable to make it, but it's also a chance for you all to connect and hear directly from the hall. There'll also be an opportunity for you to ask any pātai, some questions, and you can do that by either opening your microphone and unmuting yourself, or you can use the chat box function here in this Zooey, in the Zoom meeting. Yeah, so I just really wanted to begin with just a brief explanation really of Tupuānuku. Tupuānuku, we're really excited about being part of this project and excited next year to have some new faces come and join us here at Te Whare Wānanga o Waitaha. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about the name. So Tupuānuku, for some of you, you may or may not know, is one of 9 stars within the cluster of Matariki. Quite a significant cluster to not just us here in Aotearoa, but actually across the Pacific. Kind of marks the start of a new year when we see Matariki rising in the winter months, and particularly for us here in the south, it's a sign for us that there's a changing of the season, and it's a time for us to kind of stop and reflect on the 12 months which have passed, but also on the 12 months ahead in terms of our planning. And we're really lucky that our ancestors have left us this almost like a meteorological guide to determine what kind of year we might have ahead. So for us, Tupuānuku, she's a female star, and she has a brother, or she has a number of siblings, but Tupuānuku is the star that holds the responsibility, or is associated with kai, with food, and resources that are harvested from under the ground. So, root vegetables and the roots of different plants too that were harvested for rongoā, what we call rongoā, which is, medicinal purposes. And so for us, the significance of calling this whare, this hall, Tupuānuku, well, from my perspective as mana whenua, as someone from here, is about the opportunity to support those who are coming into this whare, into this hall, and connect, I suppose, to this particular place, to establish your own roots in a sense, as a young first year students. Additionally, across the campus, the majority, there's quite a few names of our buildings which are named after stars, and that's deliberate. Recognising the connections that we have across the Pacific to the stars, not just Matariki or Tupuānuku, but also Puaka, Rehua, and in our narratives here, Matariki was the mother, and one of her partners, so you'll see Matariki appear in the winter, one of her partners was Rehua, who was a summer star. And so their children are the 8 children of Tupuānuku, Tupuārangi, Waiti, Waita, Waipunarangi, Hiwa Iterangi, Pōhutukawa, I probably have missed one, Ururangi. And so they all have special significance for different reasons. And for us, Tupuānuku provides that connection to the wider campus, where we have matariki represented in a building that's responsible for all of the manaakitanga when you first come in, all of those the first entry point when you are creating relationships with us as staff here at UC through student services. They sit within that building. We also have Rehua, which is the house of the College of Education, Health and Human Development, and also the business school. So we're significantly connecting those of you who might come and stay in that particular hall with the rest of the campus, and knowing that you have connections just across the road really into the wider Island campus. So I'm happy to take questions and things as well, or I can speak, happy to answer on emails as well, but just wanted to give you a brief whakamārama understanding of the name of the building and how important that building is in terms of why we've named it Tupuānuku from a mana whenua perspective, and ensuring that you know that manaakitanga is at the core of everything that we're aiming to offer you, and that you'll be able to experience some of those stories and narratives from here within Ngaitahu that we hope resonates with you. So what I'll do now is I might pass over to Laura. I think that's the right person I'm passing over to, very unusual in this Zooey setting. And I'll mute myself. Tēnā tātou.
Kia ora, I'm Jonathan Laird, University of Canterbury's Project Manager for our new build, Tupuānuku. Come with me and have a look at the progress we've made. We're nearing completion. This is the main entrance for the building, where you'll come in to the reception lobby, through security and into the building. So this is our study centre. We've got small meeting rooms, large meeting room. There's some soft furnished booth seating with interactive screens, workspace, and where the site office is currently, study space and desking with interactive presentation screens. So as you come out of the main lounge area, there's a laundry, 2 music rooms and a movie room just before you get into the self-catered kitchen area. So this is the self-catered kitchen area. We're in the final stages of preparation for the fit out of the 10 MasterChef style kitchens. There's fridge freezer units in this area here, and then as you go down the kitchen islands, finishing with one down the end which has got an accessible countertop. So we're in the shared dining function space at the moment, which joins the 2 main buildings. Entry and exit out onto the landscaped area, nice lawn area and paving, and then into the internal courtyard, which is planted, some deck areas for activities, links into the shared kitchen facility and the catered dining over here. So here we are on a typical residential accommodation level. We've got 5 levels. This one's nearing completion at the moment, with the final touches going in before the cultural narrative colour gets put through on the walls and the carpet tiles. At the northern end, we've got a study room that looks out over the gardens, bedrooms down to shared bathrooms. We've got a kitchenette at the northern end, one in the central tower for both wings.
I'm Laura. I'm with Unilodge. We're really proud to be entrusted with Tupuānuku. Thank you, Janine, for that wonderful opening into the building. We are going to be opening as a support and a living partnership with the University of Canterbury. And I think the living partnership is one that's going to grow. We learn to adapt and change. So we have a partnership in a number of ways. As a property, we'll have a partnership with the residents, listening and talking and being part of what changes and moves with the times is really important with us. We have, as Unilodge, by February, we're going to be looking after 3,000 beds in New Zealand, and we are fortunate to have nearly 23,000 beds across New Zealand and Australia. With that, that means we have some really experienced residential life managers within our business. So they are part and parcel of talking and listening to all the students so that we have the ability to change and adapt as you do, making sure we've always got what you need. The property itself, as you saw Jonathan walk you around, there is going to be 2 different types of rooms you will have seen. We have dormitory style rooms and we have ensuite rooms. Residents will be asked to look after their own rooms, obviously, but we will have bead sheets that are changed weekly that you can do in swaps with us. Once a week, we'll have housekeeping that'll come in, do a bit of a vacuum over the floors. We do ask you keep the floor clear so that they're not moving your things, and empty your rubbish bins. Safety and security is really high for us at the property, and having a state-of-the-art building that the university have built is a real plus there. We have electronic door locks, so it's going to be your Canterbury card that accesses you through into the areas of the property, and only you can get in. That's really important to note. We have CCTV throughout the building. It's naturally fully sprinklered, smoke alarms, all of the main systems that you would expect in a modern day building. We also have staff on duty 24 hours a day, so there is somebody awake on site walking around the building at all times to make sure that you're safe and can answer any questions that you might have, to be there as a support. We also have security of our own, so although we link in with the UC security, we also have our own security guard that's on overnight with our duty manager as well. There are RAs, we'll have 20 RAs spread out throughout the building, so there's always someone there if you need to talk or if you need some help with studying. There's always going to be someone around. We have a huge amount of common spaces throughout the building. We've got some wonderful games areas. You saw Jonathan walk through and a few pictures pop up. There are study rooms on all of the floors, so you've got lots of areas that are small if you're just doing a small study group or wanting to get out of the room but study by yourself, or there's some larger ones. There's also lots of common areas with the theatre and down into the dining areas. There will be full Wi-Fi, of course, supplied by the UC, so you will have Wi-Fi wherever you are in the building, so there's not a problem. You can stay online all the time. Food and beverage, we have self-catered kitchens on the ground floor, so there's the main kitchen there for those of you that are joining us self-catered. You'll have the ovens and the stoves and toasters, kettles, but we do ask that you bring your own pots and pans with you, or we can, when we send out our offers, we will show that there are some packs that you can pre-purchase in advance if you prefer, but that's totally your call. You can bring your own things as well if you like. That goes for your dining utensils, so that you take care of your own utensils while you're there. And there's also storage areas and a dry store, fridges and freezers for you. For those of you that are coming to us for a catered opportunity, we are partnering with Chartwells, so they have a fantastic offering that they're putting out. The partnership is to bring out a style of food that's very fresh, straight out to you, that's smart food. So a lot of brain foods are going to be in the menus. Our first set of menus obviously will be devised by their chef. They have dietitians who put all of the menus together. However, it's important to just say that that's the first set of menus and they will regularly change. With that, we have a food and beverage app where we absolutely ask that you let us know in real time what you're thinking of the food that's out. If there's things you're missing or you would like something different, let us know on that app. We can fix things almost immediately if there's something that you want that's different. We also will be asking residents to join us regularly to talk about what sort of foods that they would like so that we keep our menus regularly changing with you in mind. If you have any food intolerances or allergies, when your offers come out, we do ask you to let us know about those in advance, because our chefs will make sure that there is food available for you at every meal sitting so that we can cater for those needs for you. Also, to note, if you're popping out and about, it's not a case of I'm going to miss breakfast because I've got to get out early, or I'm not going to get a chance to be back in time for dinner. That app will also give you the ability to pre-order. So if you're popping out tomorrow, you can send us a little note and say, oh, I'd like to pick up an up and go breakfast or a takeaway lunch, and we'll make sure the next day that it's there for you to collect on your way out, because it's important that you can always get hold of some food when you need it. If you're going to be late back, let us know and we can plate up food that you can heat when you come back in later. The meals, there are 3 meals a day, Monday to Friday as part of your package. And then on the weekends, we do a brunch and then we do a dinner. So a little bit more relaxed on the weekends in case you're needing to take that little bit of extra time to have a sleep in. Once again, I cannot reiterate enough how much your feedback is important to us building these menus and telling us how you're feeling about meals, because we all really relate to food and it's a big factor in our lives. So let us know what you think as you're going through and we will change and grow with you. There is also with Uni Lodge, when we send out to you your offers, we'll also send out links to you. So that link will also give you your first taste of what it's going to be like at the residence. So this is just an example. That link takes you into some training that we would ask you to do before you arrive. That takes you through a bit of an orientation on the building, takes you through a couple of little housekeeping style items, just so you're aware. Living in a community this large is wonderful because you have such a diverse group of people, but it's also important to be aware of those things before you get there, that life is a little bit different from a family of 4 to a family of 504. So we talk about respectful relationships, the safety and security while you're on site. We'll also have things there to help you as far as understanding and appreciating alcohol and drugs in today's society, and making sure that not only do we have people available 24/7 for you, but that you're also aware that if you need to find something separately, mental health and support services that are available both in Canterbury and at the university. As part of our ongoing program, we run what we call a residential life program. That is our pastoral care program, all encapsulated in one. We have a team of people led by a residential life manager. And really briefly, it breaks down into how we deal with helping and supporting you in your academic needs, giving you some social outlets so you have a chance to interact with the people in your community. We talk about community, and we will be doing activities and different attributes to do with living in a community, but also the local community. So with your local UC Army and such that do help out and about into the community. Cultural is a really big one. And again, as I say, we had Janine luckily come in to talk to us first at this webinar, and we'll be working through with the team all year, making sure that, you know, we work really hard on ensuring that that cultural basis that we have within Tupuānuku is brought into everything that we do and is part of us and our well-being of every day. And then, of course, there's health and well-being. So we go through that's everything from your dining to your stress levels to study habits and just generally keeping healthy out there in the world. So they're all the attributes that we will be working on through the year with you. The social aspect and all of the groups, so things if you're interested in certain groups, LGBTQ, all of those types of groups, that we will have different types of groups in the halls. They will also be able to put into their calendar, into our app, so that you can, on your Unilodge app, have a look, see what's going on in the building. Quite happily, if there's an event that you want to attend or some sort of study group that you'd like to be part of, all you need to do is RSVP on there and all the details will be there so that you can find us. It's important to know that when you stay with us, that you have access to all of these different events. You have a right to go to any of them, so feel free to log in, put your interest down on that. If you have any questions, though, the staff and team are around all the time to talk. As a resident of the hall, you will receive with your offer a full book on the hall's rules and regulations. So that will give you clues into everything that we do, right down to whether you're having somebody come to stay overnight with you, or whether you're having a visitor that maybe, a parent has come and you would like to maybe come and have lunch with them. There is that opportunity, and we can talk and help you to buy meals for that. Also, just a little reminder for those, if you are self-catered and you're getting through study time and it's now exams and you're worried about, having to cook for yourself, we can do packages as well for you, so that during that exam time you can come down and eat in the catered area, so you don't have to worry about that as well. And I guess now it's time to open to the floor and ask if there's any questions that you may have.
Kia ora, Laura, it's Ryan from UC here. There are just a couple of questions in the chat box that I might read out to you if that's okay. So there is one from Russell, and he's asking, what are your rules around having someone over overnight, or perhaps even friends over to use the study facilities?
When you come to the hall, everybody who comes into the hall has to sign in. So if you bring a friend over to study, then that's fine during the normal hours. After 10 o'clock, we do ask that there aren't non-residents in the hall, but you can log in and register them during the day. Overnight, the rooms aren't set up for overnight. You have a king single in the room, so we don't have the room for an additional bed in the dormitory rooms.
Cool, thank you. And another question here from Jeff, and the question is, do you provide in-room fridges for those with medical requirements, for example, diabetes?
Yes, we do. There are not fridges in every room. What we have is we have a small store of fridges. So if you do have a medical need, like diabetes, to store medicines, please do let us know. We will make sure that we allocate the room accordingly. And ensure that there is a small fridge in there if that's what part of what your needs are for when you're staying with us.
Cool, thank you. And another question here from Hayley. Being such a big hall, how is it broken up into smaller groups to get that community feel?
We have a wonderful breakup actually throughout where we call the neighbourhoods, for want of an explanation, but the word that we will be using is kahui, and that's part of the life and journey. I think Janine it describes it far better than I could do it justice, but the journey of the seed under the ground, so that we can bring in our culture into these kahuis and neighbourhoods, so that each RA that's within a kahui will work on specific types of events and gatherings and meetings with those kahuis, and then we will have larger groups together. So then all the kahuis will come together for bigger events. There'll be competitions against different kahuis, so that, you know, we can do things in small groups as well as larger groups.
Kia ora, tātou. I thought I would jump in because I'm still here.
Thank you.
I'm so nosy. I thought maybe I could add to that too. So for us, in the naming of the places and the spaces within Tupuānuku, we've been quite mindful of that. We want to ensure that the narrative is well understood, because you'll be spending so much time there. It'll be, you know, it's a home away from home for those of you that will be coming. So the word kahui itself in this context is in relation to that. It's another word, I suppose, for the word cluster, a cluster of stars. So it also means like a group to gather together. So it kind of has that dual meaning. And a lot of kupu Māori or Māori words have dual meaning. So where possible, we're trying to infuse the building with its with that bicultural part of who we all are here in Aotearoa, so that we can value that. So you'll actually see a few things pop up. We're still developing a lot of them, but the name whānau, which many of you will be familiar with, for the smaller clusters of groups as well, also has dual meaning. Well, actually has more than dual, there's many meanings, and one of them is around, we talk about te whānau marama, which is the stars in the sky, the family of Marama, or Marama the moon. So yeah, what we're trying to do is weave all of those things in, those really important aspects that are unique to us here in Aotearoa, and in particular for us here in Ngaitahu, to ensure that you too feel part of the whenua here and our whānau, and be part of our kahui. Kia ora.
Thank you, Janine.
Thanks, Janine. I just also want to mihi to Abigail Spencer, who's in the call as well. She's our accommodation services manager, so she may answer some of you, some of the questions in the chat box as well, just in case we can't get to them all. But the next question is from Joanne, and I'm really hoping that we don't have this problem next year, Laura, but the question is, what is the policy for charging students should there be another lockdown and students can't or perhaps don't stay at the hall?
I'm absolutely with you there, Ryan. I certainly hope we don't have another lockdown. I think we have discovered, certainly in Auckland, that no two lockdowns are the same, because we had one opportunity where we had a lot of students go, and then we had a different lockdown, the last one, where we had everybody in. There isn't a set policy as such, based on the fact that every situation is dealt with as its own situation. As far as we work completely in conjunction with the university. So the university, at any time that there is a lockdown, would make a call on what they are doing with their halls, and we absolutely would follow the direction of the university.
Cool. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen though, eh?
Absolutely.
And a question around, self-catered and fully catered, obviously two different types of students. Are they kept quite separate? And for example, do they eat in different areas and times? How does that work?
No, they're not kept separate. I mean, there is a large area right by where the catered food is served from, and that is obviously around the buffets and such where the catered students go. But there is a very large communal dining area, so you can go and get your food if you're catered, and you can go around and you can sit in the communal seating, so you could sit with your self-catered colleagues and friends if you want. So no problem there. We try to keep as many people together at all opportunities as we can.
Cool. And a couple of questions around transport that I reckon we could answer together. So the first question is, do we have car parking for residents? And then on the flip side, do we have secure bike storage?
There isn't car parking for residents. If there is anybody that has particular accessible needs, please do reach out to us separately so that we can assist. At bike store, yes, we do. We have a lockable bike store, which makes it secure by the simple fact you have to have your room card to get in there. However, if I can put a caveat on the fact that it's 2020 and it's important for us to know that for pure security, it always comes down to the best is the best. So when you're walking through a door, making sure you're not letting tailgaters come through. I know that's really hard to do when we're a really friendly natured people. We tend to hold the door open for the person behind us. But, you know, in times where you've got bike stores and equipment that belongs to people, you need to be really, really careful. So yes, the bike store is lockable. We would also absolutely suggest that everybody have bike locks on their bikes, even though it's in a locked store, to be extra safe. And I know there are a number of different types of bike locks that you can get. So the stronger the bike lock, the better. But those areas are CCTV'd and we do have security around walking, but I always say prevention is better than the cure.
Absolutely. And as Abby just said as well in the chat there, students can also purchase parking on the UC campus as well. So although it's not provided on site, it is available on the UC campus, which is of course a very short walk away from the hall. And we're actually out of time, but I've got one more question, which is, can you tell us a little bit about some of the tutorials that or how the tutorial program will run in terms of academic support for students?
Academic support will be in a number of different ways. We will work with the UC on different tutorials that we can pull from the university. We will also work with study groups within like-minded students and like-minded study areas within the same coursework. The big thing to remember there is that program will be put into place once we actually get an understanding of who the cohort is that's coming, because every year it's going to be different, so that we can make sure it's tailored specifically to the people that are in house with us at that time. The Res Life Manager and his or her team, we haven't employed them yet, but they will be on board by the time you arrive. Part of their role will be to make sure that everybody has had that opportunity to meet with them, to talk through what sort of studies that they're doing, and we work alongside also the ACE program with UC, so that we make sure that we're helping to support anybody that's maybe getting behind, and that we're aware of those things in advance. But those check-ins with the Res Life Manager happen regularly throughout the year. Your property managers, your frontline staff, they're all there to touch base with you to see is what's in place working for you, and if not, how can we help to make that better for you, to support what the university gives you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Laura, for joining us tonight and giving us a bit more information. I'm sure if anyone has any more questions, they'll find more information on our website, including contact details, either for the Unilodge team or, of course, accommodation services at UC. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you found the webinar useful. Good luck for your applications as well. Don't forget to submit them on time, very important part. But thank you very much.